Hey guys, I'm back with another mod 2v2 because these are a lot of fun. I actually do really enjoy them, but you know, I hope you enjoy them too. Let us enjoy it together. And yeah, this is going to be a really fun one because obviously the teams are pretty good, as you can see. We got EmptySoul and Shrike here playing on the red team. Obviously both players really don't need any introduction. Neither are these two. I mean, I'm one of them. But also we got EmptySoul playing as the Galzian, so all four of us, I'd say, quite skilled. So this will be a fun matchup. Let me just assign some numbers to the, no, not one, maybe two. To the carriers here so we can check their tech. Let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be playing Soban here. My idea is to go AAV rails, just, you know, the typical way. That kind of sounds boring maybe, but actually I did this because I hadn't played this, you know, typical way in a bit, so. But yeah, I was playing as random, it's worth noting, so the other team doesn't know what faction I am here. EmptySoul playing as the Galzian, which is also interesting. He either does Galzian or Soban, usually from what I understand, but his plan was to go for Sand Skimmers into a carrier rush. So with the base runners and everything, the way SSSS always used to do it. Back when he was still alive. Anyway, we got EmptySoul, and I think he was playing random too, but that he announced faction. He might have just told us right at the beginning, I'm not sure. But both players here are going to be Coalition. We have Shrike as well. I feel like Shrike is ripping on my color scheme, but that's fine. we all know who the OG is, so that's all you need, right? My probe is going to scout the position of the players here, so we know Shrike is on right. He's gotten early LAV fab, and then he's going into a support crew. Or he was going to, but then he cancels it there. A-Game's LAV is going to struggle to take out the probe. They're a little bit worse at that in the mod, if I understand correctly. A-Game can maybe correct me on that one. I think that's true, though. But we're going to see some LAVs moving out on that side there. LAV fabrication just now finishing for me, and then I'll go straight into AAV fabrication, so I can help out, but not just yet. It's going to take a little bit of time for me. But one thing I can help out with is my base runner over here. I'll come over and try and support with one of the targeting jammers. This is actually free in the mod. This is an important thing to note. The Soban targeting jammer is now a free ability, so it's basically just locked to its cooldown, how often you want to use it. Something we often see in vanilla is that, yeah, you can use the targeting jammer, but unless it's really going to get you something, you know, noticeable, there's really no reason to do it. But in this mod, you're really encouraged to, because obviously it doesn't cost anything. So you don't want to use it, you know, if there's not a very good, if there's not a good reason still, because it might be that, you know, you could use it later on a little bit more effectively, but there's nothing wrong with using the targeting jammer anymore, which is quite nice to see. My idea here really is that I'm expecting A-Game to come up and put down a turret with this base runner. If I can just toss the targeting jammer onto there, I can help out EmptySoul quite a lot. So, and I'm on two bases as well. EmptySoul getting refinery mode now, so he's going to be on two pretty soon. The other two players falling a bit behind there, though. Well, I say that as a support cruiser pops up for A-Game, but it's only just on the way for Shrike. So, could take a bit of time. I grabbed the artifact on the way, just because, you know, why not? A turret is getting set down, but I think it's not even going to get a shot off. Yeah, look at that. I think it was timed pretty much perfectly. Now the question is, what does EmptySoul do here? Because A-Game can target the jammer. Looks like EmptySoul is going to target the turrets. We got a kind of funny little game going there where like neither of the strikecraft are actually attacking each other. They're all focused on something else, which I think is pretty funny. EmptySoul's basemen are going to run into a bit of trouble over here. Shrike has got a couple of LAVs chasing it. AAV's starting to come out for me now. As well as railgun fabrication. Like I said, that was going to be my game plan right here. A-Game looks like has also gone for AAVs. And then Shrike, you just saw that, obviously. That's air tech finishing. And actually, I didn't think that... no, yeah, fighter and gunship, right. I did know this at some point. Obviously, yeah, like for Galzian, the bomber slot won't open up until you actually research bombers, but because fighters are tied with gunships, then the thing pops up on the back the same way. Now over here I realized, like, oh, I could probably smoke this and save it, but I was a little bit slow on that, so a bit sad. Yeah, you can see. But, you know, I tried. But I'm thinking maybe I have a little bit of a power swing going here, so I want to push the AAVs out across the map. And because I went so heavy on eco, I was also able to get the first armor upgrade quite quickly. A-Game does not have that yet. He's the other one with AAVs, so that's probably going to be relevant in just a second. Shrike also going for AAV fabrication right now. He set down a pretty annoying turret over here on the extraction, but I think it's a little bit misplaced. If it was like right there, say, that would probably be better. Little AAV ward gonna go down here, but me having the upgrade superiority, I should take this one, and if I'm not, I can probably just smoke out with this guy. But I'm also on high ground now. I'm wondering actually if A-Game stayed on the high ground, if he could have taken that fight, but it's not going to be the most impactful thing in the end of the day, is it? He tries to smoke there, and he's got the healing on the carrier as well, but it doesn't work out. Strike Fighter's going to come in here, though. They're going to take out my first AAV, and they're going to protect A-Game very nicely from a push by those AAVs. In which case, I feel like this turret is perhaps a little bit of a waste. But perhaps A-Game didn't realize that was coming out. I immediately dropped down an anti-air turret post with the base runner there because I don't want any of that. So that's set up there. If I can bait him into chasing me, that's fine. But otherwise, this just gives me some nice protection while I worry about getting anti-air in other ways. And I'm gonna get heavy vehicles armor too. So Shrike now going for railgun fabrication. EmptySoul with another production cruiser, and he said he was carrier rushing. Yeah, so we're probably gonna expect power reserves to start coming out just about now. Still no tech from him, right? He doesn't need that. All he needs really is the space runners and production cruisers. It's kind of a funny thing, but it can work out, you know? It can be pretty scary, too. This is an interesting attack by A-Game, because if I focus on the LAVs, which I can counter quite nicely, the AAV is obviously going to kill me, so I feel like this actually worked for him pretty well. Still, though, having 13 armor there, I can win the fight against the AAV, and the LAVs are not going to do much damage to me, so... EmptySoul also comes in, so if I need any support there, I've got it. And ironically, the smoke from A-Game is actually going to help me get out. Put a targeting jammer onto the turret there so that I can get the extraction. That'll go down as well, but I should be safe to extract here. But again, looking at things, I could probably have just run over this way and been safe anyway. I was probably in this menu here, so I didn't actually know that. One railgun coming out for me, but I know that I want to stick to AAVs for now. It's still a lot of strike craft presence on the map. And railguns are quite fragile too, so when there's this much air out, it's not really wise to go for too many of them. One thing I am thinking is maybe my carrier can push a hole through here. There might be a bit of an opening. But I'm going to prioritize eco first, and actually looking back on things, I kind of regret this. I think it would be more exciting if I hadn't done that, but who's to say how it would have turned out. EmptySoul coming up here. He wants to stop this extraction, but he's not going to be able to, obviously, but at least he can kill the base runner after. The game might be up, the opponents might realize what he's doing, but I don't know. Sandskimmer upgrades are coming out, by the way, so damage 1 is on the way now for him. And that makes sense, because that's going to be basically his main unit. What is A-Game going to do to respond to this? Well, he's gotten AAV tech, he's gotten railgun tech. I think battle cruisers is good for this, but I'm not totally sure. I always had a lot of trouble holding off SSSS's, that's so hard to say, his things. What do you call them? His carrier rushes. So I'm not really totally sure what the best move is. You see I'm taking a bit of grief to this turret right here, but that's fine. So another support cruiser comes out for me now, so I'm ready to move my carrier out. I'm ready to militarize it. I'm getting support cruiser anti-air as well. Now this might be a bit of a problem for us, but EmptySoul is going to spot it with his base runner right there. So we know that that's there. Actually, I had an AAV here who was damaged, so I sent him back to be healed, and this is going to be pretty convenient for me. It's actually a good lesson to learn. Like, if AAVs are damaged and you send them back to be healed by a support cruiser, sometimes they'll come in clutch and save you in situations like this. So, that's never a bad move, I would say. Base runner I've pretty much accepted is dead here. I don't really see how he's going to get out of that. So the strike fighters are chewing up my AAVs now, but I'm hoping he'll stay for just a second longer, so I'm going to pop out 2 missile batteries, and that could potentially be really painful. One thing I didn't realize in game is that Shrike really hasn't invested in too many of these. It's only 3 of them, actually, so that's pretty good on him. Anyway, I'm also going to use the mortar, which is buffed, I believe, in this patch, against the railguns there to great effect. And those 2 air units going to slip away just barely, which is pretty cool. But all the railguns for Shrike going down, so that's good for me. My carrier is quite damaged, though. I'll have to deal with that. If we look over here on this side, I believe a salvager went down, yeah, but that's all he's going to lose, EmptySoul. And A-Game maybe will kill a couple of sandskimmers, but that's obviously not very impactful. I was honestly really worried about these LAVs here, but they were kind of preoccupied fighting some of my railguns, so that was nice for me. Probably could have aimed the mortars a little better, but that's fine. This AAV is also in a good position, and there is an ALM here too if they want to try to do another run-by, so... Now, probably the right move for Shrike has got to be to go for that support cruiser. And I actually don't have smoke on this guy either, so he might have been able to get it. You can see he's going to start attacking it now. But EmptySoul comes in with some sandskimmers too. That's going to be held off. I'm wondering if he would have gotten it, actually, but I think maybe he could have. Now, I've got an assault cruiser fabrication. I don't really want assault cruisers in this scenario, but I do want artillery. I'm going to tech up to that any minute now. If you look at EmptySoul, he's on power 3 now. Quite a field of base runners coming out, so he's getting ready for it. And A-Game's still not teching up into anything else, so he wants to do this using railguns. I think that's a little risky, but it might work for him. Oh, I see how this happened. I was wondering how there were so many railguns when we played the game. So he's actually going to send his railgun force over here and see if he can just kill me. Or maybe he's trying to defend against what he feels is going to be a push against his teammate there, I'm not sure. But that's really interesting to see. Now, one thing to note is that in this patch, AAVs like actually do damage, which is quite nice. So I can use them against my opponent's railguns here. Not effectively, they're obviously being countered there, but they can supplement the push of the railguns quite nicely. So it makes it a little bit less binary in these railgun fights, where I feel like in the past it's often been, do you have more railguns? Yes or no? Well, if yes, you win. If no, you lose. Now there's more options. You know, it's a little bit less binary, like I said. Let's see what's going on elsewhere. Nothing really, although these two guys have slipped into the back lines, but there's enough sand skimmers there to take them out, and they are fully upgraded too as far as damage goes. I noticed that these guys ran back, so I'm thinking maybe I can trap them. A-Game's railguns are coming in over on this side. The two missile batteries are both ready to deploy the mortar though, and I feel like this is not going to go well for him. Yeah, he's going to get out of it. I think he only loses one there, yep. These guys here though, like I said, I thought they were pretty trapped. It looks like they are. You can see he's close enough to the AAVs that he can get killed here. And there's only armor 1 upgraded on these railguns too, so they're going to go down fairly quickly. EmptySoul going to deny this extraction almost certainly. It's getting carrier blocked and there's a lot of sand screens there, so that's going to go down. Power Reserve 5 is on the way for him. That's obviously the big one where we get the cruise missile. And artillery is on the way for me too now. And artillery, I feel, is the natural progression in this type of a railgun fight if no one comes out directly with the advantage, which it doesn't look like anyone has here. I'm using my carrier pretty extensively here. I feel like, oh, Shrike actually is. He's got Power Reserve 4 on the way. I didn't notice that. But yeah, you can see my railgun numbers have constantly been below, and yet I'm able to keep up this pressure, and that's really good because it means that we have control over our extraction zone. That's obviously pretty relevant. EmptySoul going to be extracting another artifact here. We could maybe do a bit better about that. I haven't made a base runner in ages, but still. Looks like I'm targeting the carrier there. That's a bit of a choke for me. And indeed, that actually was not the best engagement, obviously. But an artillery cruiser is popping out now, and these guys are rather bunched. I think that's going to be pretty tasty for me. No, they're going to back away, so that's good for them. That's definitely what they need to do. Artillery definitely is more pokey in this mod, though, and so we might see some real damage come out here, especially if they stand still like that. It's a little bit underwhelming, but then again, it is actually off target, so that's not surprising. Oh, ouch. Those guys took a bit of damage. Looks like EmptySoul having Power Reserve 5 now, launching that Galaxy missile barrage. And it's, as typical, quite tilting for sure against A-Game there. He didn't actually lose many railguns, but they all got so damaged. I feel like when the fight comes, they're going to be damaged enough that they go down. Meanwhile, here I am with the artillery, and I'm actually just going to prioritize attacking that carrier here, but yeah, I think I've realized that's probably not the right move. Especially because these guys are so bunched up like that. Oof. Yeah, so definitely a little bit of blobbing going on there on Shrike's end. That's going to cost him pretty dearly. His carrier is quite a nasty thing. You can see how powered up it is. But my carrier is not exactly the weakest either, and I'm okay taking a bit of damage. I can also smoke my AAVs there. And there's still missile batteries here, so he can't exactly launch the strike fighters. He's going to learn that the hard way. Artillery in the area as well with the railguns means that carrier is probably going down. Now, A-Game's got a huge number of railguns, but like I said, they're all pretty damaged. Power Reserve 6 on the way now for EmptySoul, so he's definitely going all the way in this you know, power rush strategy. And it seems to be working for him. He's held his opponent really back at bay here, and if he pops over the hill, he's immediately going to be taking damage. Shrike's carrier going down right now. And at this point, A-Game still has a very large number of railguns here, so that's definitely noticed. Like, I can't just push in without thinking about it, but with EmptySoul over on this flank, that really ought to be the game, I think. I don't really see what A-Game can do about this. And isn't this such an interesting idea? He's like not even gotten a single unit tech. He's just like, nah, I don't need that. And it's working too. This is actually nerfed, by the way, in A-Game's patch, but not enough, I feel, to the point where you can actually not get away with it. So it still is like a doable strategy. It's probably less viable than it was before, but... And this is really the big reason, obviously. I mean, oh my gosh, that still makes me angry to see that. But yeah. Shrike is the last little screw you, gonna toss down the det packs onto that railgun there. Not quite gonna kill it though, that's a little sad. Railguns are still up for a game. They're on high ground as well, so I'm gonna have to smoke and wait, but while I'm waiting, the artillery can come in and do quite a thing. And EmptySoul probably will poke back in now. He's at full health. He had to, he got pushed back by the rails there, but now that I'm here, he can probably just charge in there and finish him off. Finish him. And that does indeed seem to be what he's doing. Artillery is doing quite well. The railguns seem to be going down. It looks like I could actually take this fight on my own, so just adding insult to injury. Here comes EmptySoul with his carrier powered up. There's 2 artillery cruisers here, and that's doing a lot of damage, you should note. Mark target is being used, probably for the first time for me this game. I'm usually pretty bad about remembering to use that. And A game is going to go down, that'll be game. I don't know, I thought it was a really good game. It just felt good, you know? It felt like, yeah, that's how... Sorry, I've gone in the sensors manager so you couldn't see the carrier blowing up. I know a lot of you enjoy that. I don't know, it just felt like that's how DOK is meant to be played. It was really quite a fun game, especially over on my end. I was like going back and forth a lot with Shrike there. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. But I just gotta say, this balance patch is like more fun every time I play it. I'm really excited for a tournament that's coming up, and I hope you all are gonna join that. I think I'll make a quick video too about like what the differences in the patch are, and you know how to join, like how to make sure you're running it up for the tournament and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. Till then.